I was coaching an entrepreneur the other day who, he actually came out and said to me, how do I fix this quickly? What's the magic pill? And I had to share with him that, I'm sorry, but there isn't a magic pill for this. And this was not health, but something else that we were working on together. But that anything that you want to improve in your life, it's usually not a quick fix. Hello and welcome to Intentional Leadership Podcast. On today's episode, we're going to talk about a very important topic in regards to health, and that is progress versus perfection.
As busy entrepreneurs, we often think, I want the end result. I want to get there quickly. And we forget that there's a journey involved. And day to day, we don't notice it. And if you stop and look back, where did you start and where are you today?
Right.
You may not be where you want to be, but there is improvement along the way.
Right. And the reason that we're bringing this up today is if you've been following us these last few weeks, you know that we have been doing a health challenge. And here we are in the middle of this health challenge 8 weeks in. And we were just talking with our coaches about when you get to this period of time that often you can hit this plateau. And what is that? This plateau is when you don't really feel like anything's happening. And the goals that you set, it's like you're feeling frustrated, you're doing all of this work, and you don't feel like you're getting where you want to be. And you're at a place where you want to give up. Now, you may feel this in your health journey or in another area of your entrepreneurial life. And I think as entrepreneurs, like you said, we are always going after that goal. And when we don't get there fast enough, we tend to just get upset about it. We beat ourselves up a little bit.
We put it off. We procrastinate. We stop doing it.
We want to give up.
Right.
Right.
Even though there are people in our group that are so successful, in the last, 48 hours, I've heard stories of them not recording their macros, not doing workouts, they just gave up. And we're halfway through.
Right.
And these are highly determined, highly successful, driven people. And if they're doing it, then it's easy for all of us to do.
Yeah. I got even a couple of people that reached out to me personally just saying that, hey, I'm sorry I've gone dark. I'm sorry I've gone dark. I really need encouragement right now. I'm feeling frustrated. And so we just thought, hey, if we're feeling this, if other entrepreneurs are feeling this and going through this particular goal that's been set to get in the healthiest shape that we can be and really feel healthy and strong this year, that we thought that you may be struggling with this progress versus perfection problem as well. So we thought it would be a good topic to talk about today.
Sure. I think one of the things is just the time frame. We put a 90-day window on this, and we're halfway through. And halfway, you feel like, I should have done this, or I could have, I should be here.
Right.
And you really don't. You're thinking of the end goal, and you're tired. You think about, wow, that's a long way to go to finish and keep this daily routine going. So I think the big challenge right now for me is being halfway. How do I get through this? The doldrums.
No, that's really good. And I think one of the bigger problems that we just alluded to a little bit is that it's the natural tendency of an entrepreneur to be really naturally impatient. So you set this goal. Oh, come on. You're the same way. You set this goal and you want to achieve it yesterday. You want this. Let's face it, in today's world, it's just you want this immediate gratification. We all want that. What's the quick pill, the quick fix? I was coaching an entrepreneur the other day who, he actually came out and said to me, how do I fix this quickly? What's the magic pill? And I had to share with him that, I'm sorry, but there isn't a magic pill for this. And this was not health, but something else that we were working on together. But that anything that you want to improve in your life, it's usually not a quick fix. And you have to just be willing to do the work. And what it starts with is really recognizing your own tendency. And I know we share this of we'll more commonly beat ourselves up rather than cheer ourselves on. So when we're not making that goal as quickly as we want to make it, we tend to really beat ourselves up. This is what's not going well. And I think what was really helpful as we talked to our coaches in this last week is they said, okay, no, you guys, I mean, you high achieving entrepreneurs, this is what you need to do, is you need to celebrate your progress, because you're looking for perfection. You're looking for this place where you've already accomplished it all. You're getting frustrated right now. So we need to look at what your progress is.
Right.
So I think maybe it'd be helpful to talk about what kind of progress that we feel that we've made just in this health challenge. So we've invited you guys to join us in stepping up your game of health this year. And I know some of you have been doing this with us and really focusing on your exercise and your nutrition and how you're just taking care of yourself. So what are some things that we can share that are some progress points?
Right. Well, the first thing that came to mind when you said that was the scale. Everybody looks at the scale. What do I weigh? I want to lose weight. I want to gain weight. And what is it? And in 6 weeks, you may or may not notice any difference. Or you may notice that you went one way or the other because you're adjusting your body to whatever the new routine is. And so for me, the first thought was, and I joked with them, I said, you guys promised that by now I'd lose 25, 30 pounds. And really, I didn't really have a goal. And they said, no, we both did not promise you anything like that.
And he hasn't lost any weight.
And I've gained 2.5 pounds. So anyway, so using the scale is something you have to be careful with. That you can get addicted to it. You can use it for the wrong reasons. And it's really not the only way to measure where you are.
Right.
So,
yeah, and another guy in the challenge said the same thing, that when he's done these health challenges in the past and his goal was to lose weight, that he'd quickly been able to lose 20 or 30 pounds. And he was pretty frustrated as well. 8 weeks in, hasn't really lost weight. The scale isn't looking any different. And so I agree, that can be a real problem, is if you are just looking at one thing.
Right.
So you haven't progressed in weight. So you had that as well. And I'm the same way. I also have not lost weight in 8 weeks. And so the scale looking at just one thing is not a way to view your progress. So how have you progressed then?
Well, the first thing is that I'm going to the gym, which is new to me. And by going to the gym, I'm spying on others, watching others and realizing that when I first got there, I was not that strong. I'm fairly strong compared to many, but not.
Or compared to when you were 20, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. And so, but now I am equally as strong as most everybody in there, or stronger. And I gauge that by doing the lateral pull downs or whatever the machine is. I just leave the weights at the guy that was significantly larger than me. And I saw what they were doing and I do those. And so I'm able to do a whole lot more weight.
I'm not sure this is the best fitness advice. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Well, we were talking about the scale. Now I'm comparing. It's actually competing. It's not comparing.
Okay. So you're competing with others in the gym.
No, I'm strong. Stronger. I'm a lot stronger.
Okay. So that's a great progress point. Yes. Well, it is hard. Just to what you're saying is it's hard not to compare yourself with others. And I think if you're doing it in fun and in some competition, but if you're doing it as a way to put yourself down, I mean, that's...
No, not at all. I don't look at it that way.
Okay.
Not at all. I look at it as, well, if those guys are in the gym and they're grunting and sweating away and they look massive people and I can keep up with them, then all the better.
Right. Yeah. That's good. That's awesome.
No, it's fun. And I can see where it goes the other way, just like the scale.
Right. Exactly. So looking at that, so you're obviously stronger. The scale is up because you have, or the same, because you've lost some fat probably and gained some muscle. So it isn't the answer just to look at the scale so that you're feeling stronger.
What about you?
Well, I would say I would have to second that same thing. Is it feels good now to go to the gym 8 weeks later and to actually feel much stronger and lifting heavier weights than I did before. When I first started out, I mean, I certainly have not, I don't know if I've ever been a gym rat, but certainly haven't been an active gym attendance, had active gym attendance for many, many years. and going and really being able to lift only the lightest weights that, really the machines have, as I was using some of the machines. That was a little disconcerting the first go around. But at the same time, I know that I wanted to learn how to use the machines and to be super safe and to start out slow. And it's been really exciting over the course of the last 8 weeks that it was like, wow, I can do, 8 to 10 reps is kind of the goal. And that when you get to that 8th or 10th rep, that last one needs to be really hard to do. And that's just a quick tip. If you're newer to weightlifting and you're trying to figure out, how do I get stronger? How do I build my body with weightlifting? And really, it's all about the heavy lifting, not too much that you're going to hurt yourself, but with proper form. What does that look like? And then how many reps are you able to do? And you get to that 8 to 10 rep and you shouldn't be able to do another rep, or it should be really hard. That fatigue, you want to get there. So exciting that I'm like, oh, wow, I've done 10 reps and I feel like I could do a few more. Then, you've got to up the weight. And so it's exciting that I've watched myself increase the weights, bring that bar down a little bit, and then just to feel stronger. That's really great. So I would say definitely that's a progress. Another one, and I think this is one we really should be watching if you have a way to do it. I mean, we have wearables like our Oura Ring fitness watch that we wear that actually track our resting heart rate. And this was probably the most significant change for me, is there has been a drop in my resting heart rate, which obviously is great for your health. And I have a low resting heart rate anyway. I've always felt pretty good about where my baseline was. So it wasn't really a target to go after that and improve that. But because of specifically, I believe, the change in my diet, number one, has made that change. And just the focus on really working hard when I'm working out and then adding in that recovery, I've seen my resting heart rate drop 4 points for me.
Wow,
so that's
impressive.
4 beats. So that's exciting, looking at my overnight heart rate and how that resting heart rate is lowering. And I know that that's a good indicator of health improvement. So that's certainly progress.
Right. And I think that with the progress, another thing that I measure is how are my clothes fitting?
Right.
It's simple. It's a little vain, but they fit better.
Yeah.
They really do.
I think entrepreneurs are all a little bit vain. If we have the guts to go in and start something new boldly and lead other people.
Sure. But,
oh dear.
Yeah, but the clothes fit better. They fall differently. I'm not changing sizes or doing anything because there's nothing drastic changing.
Right.
But just the fact that my clothes fit better or differently is another measurement.
Right. I think a lot of the entrepreneurs in the group, and we can both say this as well, is we've noticed a change in our energy. When we've actually looked at it, it's like, oh, wow, we're not having that middle of the day slump anymore. We're having more energy.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. It's easy to go to bed too at night. It seems like without that slump, at the same time, come bedtime, we just fall asleep.
Right. You're ready to go to bed.
So I think that that's another piece that happens, the latency part of staying awake right before you fall asleep.
Great job making it this far and being committed to your personal and professional growth. Now, we want to make sure that you're able to take the lessons from this episode and apply them to your leadership and life. So we've created absolutely free a downloadable worksheet that you can download right now, and it's going to show you the top lessons of today's episode, and more importantly, help you create an action plan so you can take these principles and put them in process in your life right away. So go ahead and get this resource and let's get back to it. I think one of the most exciting things, and not really sure how this was going to feel, but was really the increase in metabolism. And that goes with the energy, obviously. But it was really, I think the biggest thing that we changed was our meals and how much we've been eating and how often we've been eating. We both, as we talked about in another episode, we weren't eating nearly enough and had no idea. And so we drastically increased the number of calories that we're having every day, drastically increased our protein, really watching by tracking our macros, how much we're putting in our body. And where I was intermittent fasting, and not hungry. My body had been trained, I thought, in a healthy way, not hungry until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Our health coach told us, you want to be hungry you want to be ready to eat. If you're not hungry, that's a sign of low metabolism, and that's actually not your goal. You want to be hungry when it's time to eat. And so training our body for that, we've definitely felt that, wow, we've had those hunger pains now, which is just a sign of our metabolism increasing. The better sleep, easier to fall asleep, more energy. So that's been a positive for both of us. We've seen our metabolism increase.
Right. And with that food, I'm hungry all the time now. And it's crazy. I'm eating way more food than I not ever have, but in a long time than I ever have. And I'm starving all the time. And so you have to get used to that, because it's not a bad thing to be hungry.
Right.
And
when it's time to eat.
When I was younger, I probably would have thought, if I'm hungry, I got to eat. And here it's, I don't necessarily have to eat, but it's probably time to think about my next meal. And it's not I'm going to just go grab something. It's a planned, structured piece.
Right.
But yeah, the hunger pains has been bizarre, because I haven't had any in who knows how long, because we've trained our body to not really eat a lot.
That's true. That's true.
So one of the things that people in our group were excited about was, I don't even know how to put it, talk about vain, but they, in my group, all would buy workout clothes based on what they looked like. And the conversation was, wow, now that I'm 6 weeks in, my workout clothes are really cute. They don't function well. So they're all going out and buying new shoes, new clothes that actually function for working out. And so where they bought pretty cute clothes or, adorable shoes or whatever it was, they realized that their ankles hurt, their hips hurt, their knees hurt, whatever it was.
Okay.
Or when they were jogging, they needed different, things to run with. And so they were out buying new clothes that actually were functioning. So I think that this is another byproduct that I was thinking of, is making sure that if you are doing this, have the right shoes specifically for the activities you're doing, so you don't get hurt.
Right.
And make sure they're newish. They should be, if not brand new. I know I preach this a lot, but 90 days and 120 days is max if you're going to be using them a lot. And my group just discovered that. They're in 6 weeks, 8 weeks, where we are right now, and they found that out.
Right.
So,
No, that's great. And I think just kind of coming out of those conversations, one of the progress points is it really helps to have a community, to have an entrepreneur community when you're working on goals, to be able to share them with others. And so it's been great to have each other as accountability partners, to have a coach as an accountability partner, and then other people that you can talk with and share insights, share concerns, share stresses, and really being able to cheer each other on and lift each other up. And that makes such a difference. And out of that, for me, I went, oh, that's just such a good point. And honestly, regarding the shoes, something that I knew, but something that I didn't really pay attention to as we started this health challenge. So again, just to second what you said, I hadn't really thought about, well, I've got to make sure I've got a really great pair of shoes for this new exercise challenge, where I'm going to be working out a lot more than I usually do and putting in these new success habits, these new health habits. I need to make sure to do that. And so out of that, I'm actually, when we go home, we're traveling right now. When we go home next week, I'm actually going to go into somebody we know locally who can fit me for shoes. And if you don't know about this, I know in your town, you're going to have someone. We took my mom to do this actually through her, it was a orthopedic, a foot doctor, a podiatrist, thank you, where she had her feet checked, and they recommended that we go. There was a couple local shoe stores in town where they measure your feet, and they really evaluate your feet and what type of shoes are going to be best for your arch, for your width of your foot. Just because you like Nike shoes, one of the gals that talked about that's her favorite thing. Well, Nike shoes may not be the right shoe for your foot. So or it may be perfect for your foot. So what brand of shoes is best for you, and not just going to the ones that are pretty that you like, but actually finding that brand that fits really well. So it's just a great reminder to me to go get my feet checked again and just to see what would be the best.
And you have a pretty neutral, safe foot, so you're fairly easy. Somebody with goofy feet like me, they're half a size different, they're super large, they're flat, supinate, pronate. I mean, it's a problem. But
I think you have beautiful feet.
Thank you. You know, you're the first person in the world.
That is not true. That is not true.
Anyway, so the progress report was interesting with the what to wear. And then another progress piece we are doing is we're measuring our bodies.
True.
So chest, hips, thighs,
Arms.
I think that's it.
Right.
And then
along with the weight.
Right.
Right.
And so with that, we've made some changes, growing in positive ways.
Right.
So
Right. No, that's good. I mean, anything that you measure improves. So even though it's hard, and it's hard to measure yourself as much as we've done, and as part of this challenge, this is something that I've never done before, is actually measuring my body and taking photos every single week and sending it in to our fitness coach. And
you've made me do that since we got married. It was a prerequisite. What are you talking? You've not done this now?
Oh, come
man,
on.
No,
Yeah, I have. I've been having him do it every week so that I have these pictures on my phone and I can just make sure he's doing it. But anyway, that is a vulnerable thing to do. And anything that we measure, I mean, you think as an entrepreneur, when you look honestly at your business and you measure your business, you come up with these things you're going to track in your business. Sometimes you look at it and you don't like what you see. But if you don't have that baseline that you started from, then you have nothing to measure from. So for progress, we had to start with, as much as we didn't want to do it, 8 weeks ago, we had to do our first set of pictures and our first measurements and our first weight, and we've had to do that every week. So you can't help but see the progress in that. And even though we were kind of, oh, do we have to do that again? You know, coaches make you step up and do things out of your comfort zone sometimes, and that's a good thing. We've both seen progress in that regard.
We were talking about it, or you were saying, "Oh, you haven't changed at all," but I knew I had changed, and so I had to get the pictures out and prove that I had improved. But no, if you look at the pictures when we started, and then look at the pictures where we are, the progress is obvious. But if you just, we're with each other all the time, it's not as noticeable. They're incremental changes. It's harder to notice. But going back and looking at the first pictures, it's like, whoa, all right, this is cool. It's working.
Right. So really having those things to measure, then you actually can know whether you're making progress. And I think that really helps when you're getting stuck in a rut or you feel like you've plateaued, that you're able to look back and to see how far that you've come. I mean, Dan Sullivan, a wonderful coach and mentor of mine, has always talked about the gap in the gain. And that's so often we look at where we want to go and we feel like there's this huge gap of what it's going to take to get there. And he always says, go back and actually look at how far that you've come. Where did you start? And it's better to measure back and look at that and celebrate that progress than to constantly feel like you're chasing out here. It makes such a difference. So again, just really focusing on that progress. So for you today, if you've been doing this health challenge along with us, if you created some goals at the beginning of the year to get in better shape, to exercise more, to eat healthy, those things, how are you coming along? I mean, are you feeling frustrated right now? Or have you felt like you've plateaued? Let's talk about some things that you can do to measure your progress, to be able to celebrate that so that you can feel good about it. So what tips can we talk about if you're in the middle of something that you're working on right now and feeling a little stagnant, feeling a little bit that you're missing the mark?
I think the first one, and we touched on it, is reaching out to friends or accountability partners, our small little groups that we've created that we're texting back and forth. That really helps kind of move the ball forward. Right. Because you get there and you get up in the morning, do I have to go to the gym? Do I need to eat 4 dozen egg whites this morning for breakfast? I don't want to.
Right.
And having that group has really helped. So I think that for me was the biggest.
Right. No, I think that's great. So reaching out to others who are working on similar things as you are, and maybe they have some ideas. They've probably been through a similar slump that you're feeling right now, or a plateau. I know in growing my business, that was so helpful for me to be able to talk to other entrepreneurs that were in the same industry, growing a company. Maybe they were a little bit ahead of me, and I was going through a plateau and just feeling frustrating, being able to call them and have them say, well, I went through that. Let me tell you what I did to get out of that slump, to get off of that plateau and move ahead. So people, having the right people surrounding yourself with.
Right.
Actually naming, I think taking some time either right now or after listening to this to set aside some time where you actually write down those good things of where you are progressing. Because again, I know if you're like us and like most successful entrepreneurs, you tend to point out what's not working, what's not going well, you beat yourself up. So will you name, we had the challenge of naming 5 things that we were feeling really good about, 5 areas where we've seen progress. So if this is your health you're working on or another goal that you're working on, I want you to write down 5 ways that you've progressed. How have you made progress? How are you moving forward?
That's good. And I think with that, you write down 3 things that you feel like you're stagnant or need improving, and what you can do, who you can ask to try and improve that, or change that.
Right.
So
yeah, I love
with
that.
the 5 positives, come up with the 3 things you want to work on.
No, I think that's really important because you don't want to ignore the things that you feel aren't working.
Right.
You know, we can't have this Pollyanna where we're just, oh, everything's going really well when things aren't going really well.
Rainbows.
Exactly. So, but you don't want to be making things worse either by only focusing on that, but just having that balance. So naming what's not working, where you're frustrated, and what specifically can you do about it?
That's good.
Yeah, I know that's really helped me, that whenever I feel like I'm frustrated with anything that's going on, a project that I'm working on, it helps so much for us to get it out of our head and on paper and have some type of action that you can take. It really helps. Yeah. Anything else?
No, I think that's great. And it works.
Awesome.
But the progress is key. Realizing where you started and understanding where you are today, even if it's not where you think you wanted to be or where you want to go, and realize that you have made some significant improvements.
Right.
Is critical.
Right. Great. You guys, so whatever you're working on today, your health or another project, remember, focus on your progress, not perfection. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you'll be the first to know when new episodes drop, to really help you grow in your leadership and level up your life and your mindset.
Watch one of these other videos, share with a friend, and don't forget, download the PDF from today's topic so that you can make sure to hold yourself accountable and take that action plan and use it.
Have a great day.